everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm sorry I've been away for a little bit. I've not been very well, but I hope you guys will accept my apologies, and I have to say it does feel good to be back. Today we're going to be going over some top beginner mistakes that people make in Final Fantasy XIV, and some of these you might even make as a veteran. So let's not waste any time and jump right in. The first mistake that a lot of people make is not using food. Now, unlike WoW, you can use food in this game right from the beginning. It's not an end game thing that you use for buffs. You can use the buffs from the beginning of the game. I do suggest in the beginning just buying, a bunch of water or boiled eggs and just eating that, because the buffs aren't that important. But you do get an XP buff that will last 30 minutes, and you can double this up to 60 minutes. So it is a good thing to do. It's a 3% XP buff, I believe, and it just helps when you're leveling a new character and playing through the game, just to get that little bit extra XP. If you go to any vendor, you can go and get some boiled eggs. There's a bunch of food here. This is just the closest vendor I was at. I tend to buy a bunch of boiled eggs or a bunch of mineral water and just down them every 60 minutes, and just make sure that the little icon at the top of the screen is still on. And I even put it on my hotbar so that I don't forget. And when you hover over it, you can see all of the buffs that are active and for how long. So that's something that I definitely recommend doing. It's super easy, takes zero time, and it helps you out. So why wouldn't you do it? Next, we're going to talk about market board tax, and the tax that you pay, well, your retainers pay when they sell things on the market board in the major towns. If you come over to the retainer bouquet and you click on the tax fees, you can see in each town whether it's normal, reduced or higher. And if your tax is reduced, you can pay a reduced rate of tax from 5% to 3%, and this can be a significant amount. If you're selling for a lot of gil, you're essentially pissing away money, excuse my French, by paying this tax. I know it feels a lot too much like real life, and when we come to Eorzea we want to escape taxes, but we unfortunately can't even escape them here. But you can release your retainer into the towns where the fees are reduced and save yourself some money by selling in those particular towns. So if you're thinking about putting up a bunch of things on the market board and you're trying specifically to make that gil, one of the tactics that I would definitely use is checking out the tax prices and going and trying to sell in a town with reduced tax rates. Another thing I wanted to mention relating to the market board that I feel like a lot of beginners don't know is, I mentioned in one of my previous videos about things being available on the market board for sale when you can buy them from an NPC from a lot cheaper, and it goes the same for selling. Don't sell something on the market board for cheaper than someone could go and get it from a vendor for, because again, if your goal is to make gil, you're selling yourself short, not only on the original price of the item that's available at vendors in the game, NPCs in the game for cheaper, you're also going to have to pay sellers tax on that, so you'll make even less. So you want to make sure that if you're selling something that is available to be sold in the game, and you can see that little symbol that says available for whatever price in the game, that you're at least matching that. And if you're Jeff Bezos, making sure you're making a profit on that. And yeah, that's another thing that I feel like a lot of people don't think about or even know about when putting things up on the market board. They just slap things up there and they don't know that they're paying tax. So that's tip number 2. The third thing we're going to talk about today that a lot of beginners completely ignore is the hunting log. Now, if you're starting new jobs, I feel like this could be a veteran thing too. If you're starting a new job and you're having to level from level 1, I cannot stress how beneficial the hunting log is. Instead of running around and just killing random enemies because you can't get in any duties yet and you can't get any dungeons or trials yet to level, do your hunting log, because you'll get bonus XP for killing the specific enemies that are on the log. So make sure that when you find the hunting log in your list of logs in the menu, that you click on the right class, because I have definitely done this before where I've been doing the Grand Company ones and not the one for the specific class that I'm playing. So this is the one for Arcanist. And we have some of these hatchlings over here, and they have this little yellow symbol to indicate that they're on the hunting log, and we only need to kill 3 of them, and we get a little reward for XP just for killing them in general, and then we get a little bonus for doing them because they're on the hunting log. So it is taking me 2 seconds to kill one of these. I've killed it in 2 hits. It really doesn't take long, and the game even tells you where to find them in the specific areas. When you hover over the names, it tells you what areas to go to, and you can go and find them and hunt them down. Hunting logs are available until level 50, so if you have any jobs that you're leveling below level 50, or even, you know, usually a lot lower than that, because it's kind of best to use it for when you're starting from scratch. You can go around, you can finish your hunting log for each class and quickly level up a few levels. You only need to be level 10, I think, to do a guild test. And then there's the leaves as well that you can also use, but a lot of the useful things that you would use to level you can't do from level 1 to 10. So the hunting log is a really useful way to do some solo gameplay and just go and level some jobs and explore the world and level your starter jobs. So that's tip number 3. Once you get to level 50, the hunting logs turned into the hunt board. So if you go to your major city and you come over to your hunt board in your alliance, you'll be able to see some elite marks and some mark bills. So mark bills don't give you as much gil, and there's quite a few to choose from, and you can go and you can complete those. So you'll basically just go and hunt a big monster. You can see where the location is. You go and you find it in those coordinates, and you kind of have to run about and wait for it to appear. It's not usually just there. You kind of have to kind of seek it out a little bit and actually hunt it down. And then with the elite ones, you have one big one that you can do weekly, and again you go and find it. You get 5,000 gil for those ones and 100 allied seals, and you can go and do those as opposed to hunting logs. The 4th thing we're going to talk about is a big one that a lot of people don't realise, and I see it almost every dungeon I go into. It's about transcendent. Now, when you're rezzed by a healer, you get 5-second immunity when you are resurrected, and the icon that you'll see appears, I'll show you in a moment, I've just died, is called transcendent. It's a little icon and it looks just like this, and it'll count down from 5. For these 5 seconds you cannot take any damage, but in those 5 seconds you also cannot do any ability. You can't even use sprint, because as soon as you do, your immunity comes off. So a lot of people don't realize they get res and the first thing they do is sprint to the next location, fire up some kind of ability and get straight back at it. But that immunity is there so that you can gather your bearings and position yourself ready to get back into the fight and hopefully not die again. And it's something that a lot of people don't realize, and it's quite frustrating as a healer to see people kind of have it come off straight away. So definitely utilize it and remember that it's there. For my final mistake that a lot of beginners make in Final Fantasy XIV today, I am going to be talking about Esuna. I think that's how you pronounce it. A lot of people don't realize that to be able to use Esuna, you need to have a glowing white bar above the debuff. You can't just debuff anything. You debuff the ones with the little white line. So when people are in the chat and they're screaming at you for not removing your debuffs, just remind them that you can only remove specific ones. And if you didn't know, today you learned learn that you can only remove specific ones. So if, you know, you're spamming Esuna and you're going, why isn't the debuff disappearing? My game's broken. It's not. It's just because you can only remove the ones that indicate above the little icon that you can remove them. It's specifically a healer ability, so White Mage, Astrologian, and all of that jazz. They'll have the Esuna ability. I don't think any of the others do. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But yes, that is my final tip. I hope you guys found some of these 5 things useful. I hope you learned something, and I hope you never make these mistakes again after watching this video. As per usual, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.